Cleveland's long sports nightmare has ended. The drought is over.
Number 10. The Oilers trade Wayne Gretzky.
It's a fait accompli. Number 99, Wayne Gretzky, will be playing in a Los Angeles King uniform next season.
Trades can be emotional, especially if the traded player has been with a franchise for many years. But the trade of Wayne Gretzky was something else entirely. Gretzky was the most dominant hockey player of the 80s, leading the Edmonton Oilers to 4 Stanley Cup victories and setting numerous scoring records in the process. However, Gretzky was later traded to the Los Angeles Kings, which upset many Canadians.
This wasn't just a hockey trade. This was Canada. This was Canada being traded. I mean, this was the guy who was kind of the heart and soul of Canadian hockey.
Shortly after the news came out, Gretzky held a press conference in which he was barely able to contain his emotions.
Promised Mess I wouldn't do this.
Some saw him as a national traitor, and a member of parliament even tried to rally the Canadian government into blocking the trade. It was not a success, and the country was left in mourning as their biggest hockey star departed for LA.
I think we'll not only be good for Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings, but I think a move that'll be beneficial to the game of hockey.
Number 9. Kevin Durant's mother is the real MVP.
Please welcome the 2013-14 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player, Kevin Durant.
Although the resulting memes have left more of a humorous impression, many basketball fans know and have not forgotten just how powerful the speech actually was. In 2014, Kevin Durant was honored as the league MVP and proceeded to give an intensely emotional acceptance speech. The tears immediately began streaming when Durant directly addressed his mom, who was sitting in the crowd, relaying stories of her life as a struggling single mother.
The odds were stacked against us. Single parent with 2 boys by the time you were 21 years old.
It's a beautiful speech that makes us all want to call our mothers and thank them for all they've done for us, and maybe make a meme or two while we're at it.
You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.
Number 8. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins at Daytona. Losing a parent is never easy. Losing a parent in a highly publicized and horrific car crash in the very sport you are also participating in is an entirely different beast.
And then we watched the ambulance going to the hospital. And the ambulance was traveling virtually at walking pace, which meant either a broken back or death.
After Dale Earnhardt died while racing in the 2001 Daytona 500, his son, along with the entire NASCAR community, had to try to move on from the death of a legend. Yet in the very first race held at Daytona International Speedway following the tragic event, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was able to capture the checkered flag.
Here they come, turn 4, final lap. Michael Waltrip in second, but it's going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. using lessons learned from his father to go from 6th to 1st and score the victory in the Pepsi 400.
A stirring performance fraught with emotional energy, it remains one of the most impressive and heart-wrenching moments in sports history. A few years later, NFL quarterback Brett Favre would have a similarly emotional moment when he honored his father's memory with a dominant performance over the Raiders on Monday Night Football.
America's most well-known number 4 has thrown for 4 touchdown passes in one half of play.
It was so emotional, but it was so special. I mean, it was like, the entire game was specifically for his dad.
Number 7. The New Orleans Saints return to the Superdome. Hurricane Katrina was one of the deadliest natural disasters in American history.
When I went to the Dome and I saw the water everywhere and the people and the crisis that was going on, it certainly became the symbol of despair.
However, the country's recovery from it will be remembered as a time when people rose up from tragedy and came together as one. One such instance was during a 2006 game between the New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons.
A moment almost unimaginable 13 months ago is here. The NFL, the Saints, back in New Orleans, back in the Superdome.
90 seconds into the Saints' first game back at the Mercedes Superdome since Katrina, safety Steve Gleason rushed in to block the Falcons' punt attempt, where the football would subsequently be recovered by Curtis DeLoach in the end zone for a touchdown.
Look out, right through! A pick block by Steve Gleason. It is scooped and scored by Curtis DeLoach. Touchdown, New Orleans!
From there, the Saints dominated and went on to win 23-3. In addition to prior speculation that the team could relocate due to the disaster's impact, the game symbolically marked the resurgence of both the team and the city.
The world was again watching the Superdome, and hearing it too. For nearly a minute after Gleason's punt block, the television broadcasters remained silent as 75,000 Saints fans gave their city back its voice.
Number 6. Gentle Ben wins the Masters.
Ben Crenshaw has won the Masters for a second time.
Winning the Masters isn't just one of the hardest things to do in professional golf. It's one of the hardest to do in all of sports. Gentle Ben Crenshaw, so named for his laid-back temperament, managed to accomplish the feat twice, with the second time proving to be one of the most impressive performances in the history of the event. After battling Graves' disease in the 80s, Ben fought back to win his second green jacket in 1995, just days after his mentor Harvey Penick passed away.
He's been holding back the emotion, keeping them in check all week, until now.
A competitor through and through, Crenshaw would not be denied, showing the golf world that sometimes raw emotion is one of the strongest attributes a person can possess.
I don't know. I don't know how I got through the tournament. I really don't, but I just tried to play as hard as I could.
Number 5. Miracle on Ice. In 1980, the United States of America was going through a period of turmoil, with a rocky economy, a hostage crisis, and growing tensions due to the Cold War. Morale in the U.S. was as low as it can get.
The Cold War was in two parts. One was the nuclear arms race. The other part was the Third World, where we were pretty much in competition.
That same year, the United States hockey team was set to face the heavily favored Soviet Union at the Winter Olympics. In an exciting and close game, the USA went on to beat the Soviets 4-3. Yet what seemed like an underdog story turned out to be so much more.
It transcended the sport. It was a national win for the country. Couldn't have been alive and not feel wonderful about it.
Due to the circumstances the country was facing, the win gave America a new sense of hope and optimism for the future, and is still remembered today as one of the country's most iconic triumphs.
I kept saying, I can't believe we beat the Russians, I can't believe we beat the Russians, and the celebration was incredible.
After that game, it made you want to hug your television set.
Number 4. Lou Gehrig's retirement speech.
Being a decent person, just doing everything he could to help his team day in and day out for 13 years, that was something they were going to miss.
During his 17-year career with the New York Yankees, the man known as the Iron Horse racked up more championships and personal records than nearly anyone else in the sport. However, a crippling disease known as ALS had struck Gehrig in his prime. In a move that shocked the baseball community, Gehrig took himself out of the lineup for good, but not before giving one of the most impassioned and heartfelt speeches in the history of sport.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
2 years later, Gehrig sadly succumbed to the disease that now bears his name. However, his legacy remains, and his speech was widely praised by the media and is now regarded as an iconic piece of sports history.
Lou Gehrig proved that you can become a part of the American dream no matter what your heritage was. I don't think there's a greater baseball story than Lou Gehrig.
Number 3. Michael Jordan's Father's Day Championship. It's no secret that NBA legend Michael Jordan had a special relationship with his father. Throughout his career, Jordan has credited his dad with giving him advice and for setting him in the right direction.
He's a voice of reason that always drove and challenged me. That's the type of father I had.
Like a friend?
Yeah, like a friend.
However, his tragic passing left a void in Jordan, and this was most apparent when the Chicago Bulls played the Seattle Supersonics during the 1996 NBA Finals.
You see some of the highlights of Michael celebrating. Where's his dad? Right next to him. His dad was always right next to him, so a piece of Michael's heart was missing.
Although Jordan delivered a vintage playoff performance and helped the Bulls secure their 4th NBA championship, it wasn't so much his play that made this win memorable, but the motivation behind it. This championship culminated on Father's Day, and an emotional Jordan dedicated the win to his late dad.
Well, I can't even put it in words. My Father's Day, what it means to me. I know he's watching. To my wife, to my kids, to my mother, my brothers and sisters. This is for Daddy.
Not only was this a touching tribute, it also allowed fans to see a different side of MJ. Number 2, Magic Johnson announces his retirement.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
After an inspired career in which he helped lead the Los Angeles Lakers to 5 NBA titles, 3 for which he was named Finals MVP, it was all the more shocking when the world learned he would be hanging up his sneakers for good. To announce his retirement, Johnson held a press conference.
We all went upstairs. He wiped away his tears. And told the world.
What the world did not know at the time was that the legendary basketball player had contracted HIV. In a moment that would strike an emotional chord not only in the basketball community, but all fans of the legend they call Magic, Johnson revealed his secret, ultimately deciding it was in his best interest to retire.
But I am going to go on, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to have fun. Okay, so thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
The former Lakers point guard has since become an advocate for HIV/AIDS prevention. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Derek Jeter's final game at Yankee Stadium.
Base hit to right field. Here comes Richardson. Here's the throw from Markakis. Richardson is safe. Derek Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single.
Mario Lemieux returns after cancer treatment.
There is the hand for Mario Lemieux, 66 of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I think that was probably the biggest surprise was the ovation, especially being in Philly. But the fans here were great to give him that type of ovation, and Mario went out and proved that he deserved it.
The Cavaliers break the Cleveland sports curse.
Cleveland's long sports nightmare has ended. The drought is over. 52 years. Time to celebrate a title.
Mike Piazza's home run.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza and the Mets lead 3-2.
I think that home run was really a sign of everything is going to be normal again. And
that home run unified New Yorkers.
Tiger Woods wins at the 2019 Masters.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory.
Number 1, the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. It may have taken 108 years, but on November 2nd, 2016, the Chicago Cubs finally got the monkey off their back.
It's absolutely awesome. It's so many adjectives: wonderful, joyous, beautiful, a miracle. It's just what everyone in Chicagoland deserved.
Having suffered through decades of blown opportunities, costly mistakes, and Steve Bartman, the Cubs met the Cleveland Indians in the 2016 World Series, who just so happened to be sporting their own lengthy championship drought. Expectations could not have been higher, and when the Indians jumped out to a 3-1 series lead, history seemed to be repeating itself. However, the Cubs slowly clawed their way back into the series and snatched victory from the jaws of defeat with a thrilling Game 7 victory.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series! Bryant makes the play! It's over! And the Cubs have finally won it all! 8-7-10!
The drought and years of Cubs fans suffering were finally over.
I want to say hello to all the Cubs fans. Hey, we did it. We did it. I want to say that even to the people who didn't think we could do it, we did it.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.